Hey guys, what up? Eyes of Neji here. So I know I've been a little MIA lately, but I just want to say sorry for not producing the content as of late. I've been on a work trip, in case you haven't noticed. Your boy got absolutely burnt to a crisp. Yeah, we are toast. We are absolutely toasty. So, lesson learned: put on sunscreen around your neck when you're going golfing in 80 degrees weather. Anyways, yeah, before we want to get into this, just shout out Colby for the editing on the thumbnail. And yeah, let's talk about the ban list, guys. So, kind of crazy, right? I saw this. This was the Sunday before I left, and just insane. Like, I was trying to stop myself from looking at it until I was able to make a video. But yeah, this ban list is awesome. Like, there's no other word to say it, right? This ban list is crazy good, crazy cool. Like, first off, to start, we've got Nightmare Griffin, Link Decoder, Abyss Dweller, and Bahamut Shark for Forbidden. Like, amazing Forbidden list, right? Nightmare Griffin, we have ridiculous locks with, Malice going full combo and essentially just turn skipping. You get your Link Decoder, which, again, Malice, so two semi-big Malice hits, right? Kind of reducing the overall power level of it. Link Decoder, I don't know a ton about what Link Decoder does other than just getting the Malice cards in the grave. I think that generically is just the point, along with being able to make, SP alive. So those two big hits against Malice now, and then Ryziel. These two hits directly hit Ryziel, but indirectly hit every other deck, right? So Abyss Dweller and Bahamut Shark. I think Abyss Dweller, everyone kind of knew Abyss Dweller was coming because you have Fiendsmith that's so popular, and it's in a lot of the competitive decks, right? And Abyss Dweller, blind, is just going to win a lot of duels by itself. And then Bahamut Shark making water just insanely good. And for those of you who have watched my videos before, I used to play water. And by water, I mean Mermaid Atlantean. And Mermaid Atlantean, great deck, but a little gimmicky. And I get what people say, right? So the win condition of the deck is that you're kind of reducing your opponent's chances, because it really is chances to break your board. Now, that being said, we're gonna see Waterlock still, but it's gonna be a little more volatile because even though they can still minstrel, they can still hit for two. It's the same thing. However, they only have interruption now. There's not really a negate that I've seen that they can put out, right? So it's either they Waterlock you on top of that, or it's 2 to 3 interruptions, right? So they're not making. I guess if they make the rank 7, I think Abyss Gaius, right? They can technically, I guess, have it on imperm, right? So maybe 3, maybe 4 max interruptions, but that's if they go uninterrupted, right? So it's still susceptible to droll. I don't think Mermaid Atlantean's dead, but I also don't think it's a big of a threat as it was. So I think Bahamut Shark just did a really good job at limiting the power level of a lot of decks. My Ice Bear deck did catch a stray, so that's unfortunate. These water decks, I feel like Bahamut Shark. Yeah, I just had a thought. Bahamut Shark actually feels the same as when Baron got banned, right? Think about it. Bahamut is kind of your bridge into Toad, right? They didn't ban Toad, but it's kind of the same thing, right? Toad is your the nib negate for a lot of rogue decks, especially water decks. So it was being made generically way too easy by Ryziel, right? So in a way, it kind of feels like the Baron hit, right? Where they're hitting these things that just make powerful cards with little to no payoff really easily. So I just think the Forbidden list was insanely good. Now onto the limited. We got Bestial Jerusalem, Dimension Shifter, Masterpiece, which was a shock, Mathemax Circular, Detonator, Bonfire, Brilliant Fusion, Cross-Out Designator, Triple Tactics Talent. Lots. Love it. This limited list might be even better than the ban list because, first of all, you're reducing Jerusalem to 1, right? Where Malice would play it at 3, I'm pretty sure, or 2, 3 or 2. And just play a large Bestial engine. And again, this doesn't, like, people can still play mag, but it's gimmicky. You're just drawing the one mag, right? Magnum Hut. But in this case, you can still include Bystials in your deck. They're just not going to be quite as strong or as effective with mag. Now, granted, again, that being said, if you resolve mag, you're searching Druiswarm, and then Druiswarm gets, free bodies from there. But, only so much you can do there. So you've got Dimension Shifter after that, which is like a godsend, right? Like, we've been waiting for a Dimension Shifter for forever, right? Like, if you like Dimension Shifter, like, you need to get checked. Like, there's nothing positive about Dimension Shifter. Like, sure, decks like Memento now, or Unchained or decks are going to be even more popular. Like, they're going to start coming back a little bit, but it's well worth it. Like, okay, so what? Like, you're using the graveyard. It's a resource. Dimension Shifter should not be in the game. Like, it is not healthy for the game. It never was. And I think I think completely ruins the possibility of you seeing it at a large event. Masterpiece and Circular, I'm not going to talk too much about, honestly, because I don't know enough. Like, Masterpiece, I know, was just insanely good. He's like an Omni Negate, right? Like, you just tribute trap cards, I think. Face up continuous traps or spells. So maybe he'd be a funny tech in Odeon, maybe. But we got him, Circular does funny stuff, right? With rank 4s, Raziel, even Malice shit, right? Detonator, this is interesting, right? So the Detonator, I want to talk about this little series of hits they did for Limited. Detonator, Bonfire, Crossout, and Triple Tactics Talent. This is insane, right? The one Crossout is crazy good because the Crossout lets you, like, if you put in Crossout at 1, it becomes kind of like Call By, right? And because Crossout's at 1, now it's like, okay, do you want to throw in something that you have to play more hand traps for in your deck just to make it useful? Like, Crossout, it's pretty much dead. Like, there's no point in playing Crossout right now, or in the foreseeable future. Like, I don't see a use case where one Crossout's useful. Now, Triple Tactics Talent, really, really good hit because, I mean, I was already playing one Odeon, but the one I think just makes sense because playing 3, like, the consistency that if your opponent hand traps you, that they just rip one from your hand, right? Like, you droll, I rip, okay. And bouncing off that, because Tactics was so good into Droll, now that Tactics is hit to 1, Droll becomes that much more effective. There's not really anything you have to worry about if you resolve Droll, like, especially against Raziel or like another deck that loses Droll. So now that you're not worrying about Tactics, Droll's like insanely good, ridiculously good. And I don't know too much about Brilliant Fusion, and I'm looking off a list here, guys. Bonfire and Raziel Detonator. Like, Bonfire, searching any of like the Raziel cards hurt. Like, obviously that's awful, but like, if the meta shifts a little bit and we start seeing like more support come out from Ashen, I could see Detonator, or sorry, Bonfire coming back to like 2 maybe, if like, Ashen wants to get more saucy. But I don't know. Bonfire was weird for me. I felt like Bonfire didn't really needed to get hit, but I also felt like it was a necessary hit based on what they did. And then Detonator is insane because you can just rip it with Unicorn, right? Like, the cash engine suddenly becomes insanely good. Like, what do you hand trap? Like, you have to save an Imperm for Unicorn, and if you're doing that, you're probably not stopping the Fenrir, right? Like, Cash becomes, I think Cash is such an insane engine, and it always has been, but especially right now, right? Right now you've got no shifter, but that changes things, right? Because Cash didn't necessarily always need shifter. They're just becoming like a Unicorn that can banish your Detonator permanently, and a Fenrir that's just constant removal every turn, essentially. And on top of that, you've got, like, if you're playing the full Cash engine, you got other things going for you. But they're free bodies, right? And then you got the Birth to banish from graveyard. So, yeah, Cash is going to be really good, I think. A really, really good engine after this ban list, especially in, like, a splashable mini engine. And, like, Mitsurugi, too, they're getting support. So, like, not having to worry about shifter. Like, all those decks, they don't have to worry about shifter is insane. The semi-limited, right? Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, a White Dragon Wyvern Buster, the Malice and Underground. So these Collapse Serpent and White Dragon came off and went to 2, I think. Maybe they were at 1, went to 2. I wasn't sure, but so Malice hits. They went to 2 Field Spell. They went to 2 White Rabbit and 2 Dormouse. So what that is doing right now is saying Malice can't. They're not as consistent. They didn't hit the Allure of Darkness. They didn't hit the Gold. Is it Gold Sark? I think it's Gold Sark. The Sarcophagus, the Banishes from deck. Like, they didn't hit these cards, but they're reducing the chance that you're seeing them in hand, which makes the deck a little more high rolly, just a little bit, not a ton. They're just like, they're taking Malice and Ryzeal from like, here's the next level of the deck, right? And here's kind of where they're at, and they're just bringing it down, like right here. I don't think it's like quite here with every other deck, but they definitely just reduced the difference. That being said, Memento is crazy. Memento, shout out to that guy. He great meta call, right? You're just using cards that trigger when your opponent pops stuff with Detonator, essentially, right? That also being said, Dweller was still legal, so I'm a little shocked he did so well with Dweller being legal. But I wasn't watching the whole matches. I may have to go back and check that out. But yeah, that was a really good meta call from him. What else? We got Shavara. Shavara to 2 is very interesting. I did not see that coming, to be honest. I was expecting like Misk to 2, but Shavara to 2 is kind of bringing back like Yubel and Pure Unchained, right? I never thought Unchained was ban-worthy. Like, honestly, I still don't think Unchained. I don't think Shavara at 3 is even bad. Like, that card got power crap so hard. Like, right after Unchained format, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Unchained, Tier, Cash, then Snake Eyes. I think I have that order right. So, like, yeah, it's just, like, Unchained never deserved. I don't think it ever deserved Shavara to a hit, because each effects are hard once, and, I mean, sure, consistency was great, but the decks are already ridiculously consistent, so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Shavara to 2, I mean, that almost convinced me to pick up Unchained again, because I have a lot of fun playing Unchained. I just don't have all the cards. I like Dynamorphia. I don't know. It was a fun deck to play, though. And then X and Ice. And yeah, X and Ice to 2 made sense. But then there was this Snake Eyes Poplar and Ash to 2. I was like, oh, damn. Like, they put both of those at 2. Like, that's crazy. Snake Eyes is going to see some resurgence here. They don't do something crazy. No, so, like, massive hits on the Forbidden and Limited list. And I love it. I'm here for it. I think the format got, knock on wood, I think the format got fixed. And we're in a great spot right now. I don't see anything wrong. Like, let's talk about the Fiendsmith engine real quick. So, Fiendsmith, a lot of you have been saying, like, oh, Fiendsmith is a problem. It ruins character of a deck. Like, it's such a broken engine. Like, it's so bad for the game. Like, stuff like that. Like, okay, some of you are right? Excuse me. So some of you are right, where Fiendsmith, yeah, it is splashable. Sure, it may ruin the character of the deck, but, like, competitively, honestly, who cares, right? Like, Fiendsmith with Closed Moon is and should be played in every competitive deck right now if it can fit the space, right? Because, like, the amount of cards that are available to you in Fiendsmith, you kind of have to play, and because you have to play them, you have to take up a lot of space in your extra deck, a little bit in your main deck. But I think that is the one restriction of the cards for being so versatile, not locking you, is the amount of space that even the main engine, without Chaos Angel, without High Wave King, without Necrocrypt, like, even without those cards, the engine still takes up, what is it? Lacrima, Requiem, Is it Lacrima? No, I don't know. Lacrima, the Link 2, right? The Link 2, Requiem, Desiree, Agnum, right? That's already 4 you got there. And yeah, like 4 spots in the extra deck is still a good amount, right? So, but the payoff is insanely good, right? So Fiendsmith, I think, is still in a spot where it didn't get worse, right? Because it didn't get hit. I think it only benefited, honestly, from the ban list, which is kind of insane to say, right? So you hit Shifter, you hit another Bestial, you hit Dweller, like all these cards that are graveyard interactable, you hit. And now Fiendsmith, like, full access, right? There's pretty much, unless your opponent has like Bell or DD Crow, or like they're playing the other Bestials, which is still possible. It's not like out of the question to play Bestial still. Like Fiendsmith becomes really good, like very, very good. And even in decks that I will be going into in like the next couple videos tomorrow and Saturday, these engines can just be splashed into one another. I think that's kind of what Konami's trying to go for. Like, you got the Cash engine, you got even the Mitsurugi engine sometimes, depending on the deck space. You've got the Fiendsmith engine. You've got, I don't know, what else? What other engine am I forgetting? I mean, like the Avenger engine technically, but, that's, nobody uses the Avenger engine anyways. I think it's just a little slower is the reason being. So, yeah, you've got all these splashable engines that you can just start throwing into different decks. And I think that's what Konami wants right now, because you've got, like, you want to have these splashable engines that have different synergies so that meta decks, even if they can use them, like maybe the Rogue deck uses it in a better way, right? For example, like Odeon Fiendsmith. Let's talk about Odeon Fiendsmith for a second. Odeon Fiendsmith, you bridge it by any 2 monsters because of Moon, right? You can also bridge it by making X-Ton type, although you don't really need to do that because if you're already getting X-Ton, you're already probably getting in the Moon. That being said, Odeon is an interesting synergy because Odeon grinds really well because of the fusion and the traps, recursion, and being able to bottom deck with the Anubis. Like, the engine just does really well with continuing to play, and Fiendsmith supports that. Fiendsmith is, used Lacrima from Grave, and if they have a graveyard removal, then sure, the engine kind of sputters out there. Like, you can't do quite as much. But like it doesn't completely die, like it does hurt if you get rid of the Requiem. But at that point, if you're like removing cards from the graveyard, that's Fiendsmith, then you just do Odeon and stuff, right? Especially in Pure. So yeah, there's like just very interesting things that like synergy wise that happen between certain decks, and with Fiendsmith Odeon in particular, because all the Fiendsmith cards are light and all the Odeon cards are earth. You get to play cards like Dominus Purge, which are insane. And now, like another interesting twist is you don't have to worry about tactics as much. So Purge and Impulse I think they lose their value a little bit, actually. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still great. But I think half of the arguments being made for those cards being so good were, okay, they don't play into talents. Like, I can interact with you without playing into that talents card for